Today we'll be making a Korean noodle dish called Japchae. This dish has a nice salty, mostly on the sweet side flavor. But like I said, it's a nice twist, give it a try. It's a crowd pleaser for sure. Today we're going to be making a Korean noodle dish called Japchae. In this dish we're going to be using a Korean sweet potatoes vermicelli. We're going to be needing 4 eggs, 1 firm tofu, and about 1 cup of shiitake mushrooms. These are the dried ones. So what I'm going to do is we're going to soak this in hot water and then we're going to cut it into strips. Next we have 6 tablespoons of garlic minced, 1 onion sliced, about half a cup to 1 cup of green beans. This is optional, but I like adding it so I have more vegetables in it. And you don't have to cut it like this. You don't have to cut it this fancy. I just don't want to cut it that way so it looks nice. You can just cut it in half if you want. We're going to need 1 whole carrot. We're going to finely julienne that. 1 bunch of green onions cut into 1-inch length. And 1 bell pepper, also cut into strips. We're going to be using 1/4 cup of brown sugar, half a cup of oyster sauce, 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of dashi powder. That's the box you see on the left. If you don't know where to buy them, you can find them in Asian market under the Japanese section, or go to the Japanese market. And we're gonna season with some sesame oil and toasted sesame seeds. First thing we're going to do is we're going to be soaking our dried shiitake mushroom in hot water. So we have it soaking there. We're going to wait for it to absorb the water, get soft, and then we're going to cut into strips. Next will be the vermicelli. We're going to be putting it in a bowl and then adding hot water on it. You don't have to boil this. You just need to add hot water until it loosens up, because you still need that crunch when you're eating this. You don't want it totally soft. We're just going to soak this in hot water and just keep an eye, make sure to stir every now and then so that every part of every strand of the noodles are getting soft. Then our 4 eggs, we're going to stir our scrambled eggs, and then we're going to make an omelet out of it. We're going to be using that as a topping. In a large pot or mixing bowl, you're going to leave your hot water in there. Then we're going to add in our noodles, or our potato vermicelli. Make sure to constantly stir them around so that the other parts are getting nice and soft. While we're waiting for that to get soft, we're going to be making our omelet. As you see, our noodles are getting nice and soft. We're just going to leave it there until they're totally soft. Meanwhile, we're going to be making our eggs. So I have our pan here in medium heat. Gonna add in some oil, just a little so it doesn't stick. Then we're gonna cook this into 2 batches so that they're not too thick. Set your heat to medium-low so it doesn't burn it, but still fully cook it. So once it's firm, we're just gonna just plate it, fold it in a plate like that. So here's our egg. We're gonna make another one like that. Also, don't forget to season your eggs before cooking it. I just season it with salt and pepper. There you go. Our last one's done. Set it aside. Next thing we're gonna do is pan fry our tofu. So our tofu, we just cut them pretty much into strips or thick strips, and then it's up to you if you want to use the whole container of tofu. I am not big on tofu, but I'm just gonna do this for this video's sake. So what we're gonna do is, our heat is still in medium. We're just gonna pan fry our tofu until it's nice and brown. Also, this dish doesn't have protein, so this is pretty much our protein. Or if you want, you can add in some chicken or pork onto this dish. We've flipped our tofu around, make sure it doesn't burn one side. Also, it is very important to use a firm tofu for this so that they don't fall apart or break when you're tossing it around. I could not find a firm one, so this is like a medium firmness. So let's hope it holds its shape. See, it's like slowly falling apart. Again, what we're doing here is we're just browning it. Our tofu should be nice and good. We're just gonna put them in a plate. So we finished our tofu. We're gonna be putting it on the side, and we're gonna start cooking our other ingredients. Our vermicelli is nice and soft. You don't want it too soft. Again, you just want to soften it. You don't want to cook it fully because you still want that bite to that noodle. What we're going to do now is we're going to strain this and just set it aside until we're finished cooking our other ingredients. Now we're going to start cooking the rest of the dish. I set our heat to medium high. We're going to add in some oil and start sauteing our onion and garlic. Saute the onion first until soft before adding in the garlic. Now our onion is soft, we're going to add in our garlic. Next we're going to be adding in our carrots. It's important to cut the carrots pretty thin so that they cook rather quickly. Now we're going to add in our mushroom. And our green beans. Make sure to season with a little salt and pepper. Don't put too much yet because we're not done adding the seasonings. Once everything is soft, add in our bell pepper. And this should not take long. Next, we're going to be adding in our green onions. Just toss it around, and then we're going to be adding our noodles back to the dish. Now we're going to start adding in our seasonings. So we're going to start with about 2 tablespoons of dashi powder. That's about 2 tablespoons. 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. half a cup of oyster sauce. And since japchae is sweet, we're going to add in a quarter cup of brown sugar. Make sure to taste. Now, if you haven't had this before, has like a nice, it's quite salty and sweet at the same time. That is really good. Okay, now we're going to be adding in our sesame oil. We're going to be using about 1 tablespoon. You notice we're putting it at the end instead of in the beginning when we're cooking. It's because if you cook this too long, it will turn bitter. That's why you just pretty much want to add this in the end or as a seasoning. We go and stir it around. Just like that, and turn off the heat. Now we're going to top it with a little sesame seed. Don't forget, we need to add in our eggs. So we added our tofu. Now the egg, we just cut them in strips. So and then the rest, you can use it as topping on your plate. And just like that, our dish is done. It's a nice twist, something different that most people are not used to. But it's big in the Philippines, especially with there's a lot of a huge Korean people over there. So here's our version of japchae, Korean noodles. Now let's plate our dish. So here's our finished dish. You can top it off with a little more sesame oil and some sesame seeds. And if you want it spicy, you can just add in some hot sauce or sriracha, anything you want to kind of like boost that flavor if you want. But other than that, this is our dish. It's a I wouldn't say it's simple, but the hard work does pay off at the end. So I hope you give it a try and let me know what you think if you do give it a try. So again, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.